How did we even get here? You know, I've done every Twilight movie, I did 365 days, and now somehow we've gotten to the end of the world, and my genius galaxy brain over here thought it would be a great idea to watch all the 50 Shades movies. And here we are, the final one, 50 Shades Freed, 11% on Rotten Tomatoes. Just to summarize everything up to this point, Anna was like, duh, Christian, and then Christian was like, duh, Anna, and then they both were kind of like, duh, for a while. And then Anna's boss was like, duh, Anna, and then Christian's ex-girlfriend lady, she was like, duh, Christian, and then Christian's like, Anna, please marry me, and then Anna's like, yeah, okay, whatever, and now you're all cut up. So let's take a walk and experience the no doubt life-changing conclusion of the 50 Shades phenomenon. But before that, really quick, this video is brought to you by Honey. Now, if you don't know what Honey is, then you probably don't watch as many YouTube videos as I do, but still, Honey is a browser extension that finds and uses online shopping promo codes to get you the best price available for just about anything you could want to buy. It works on over 20,000 different sites, including all the big ones like Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Wayfair, Target, Sephora, just almost anything really. And whether you're buying something for someone else or guilting them into buying you something, Honey can get the best price available. Go to joinhoney.com/Alex Meyers and you can install Honey in just 2 clicks, real quick and easy, and start saving money immediately. Like here, I went to the Bath & Body Works website and I did that thing where I was originally just gonna get a couple hand soaps and then all of a sudden I look like a hoarder, you know what I mean? And right before checkout, Honey found like 9 different promo codes and tried them all for me to get me the best deal. It even tells you if the sale price of something is actually worth it or not. Like here, I'm on the Macy's website buying this Martha Stewart quilt because I'm in my 30s and this is my life now, and it lets me know exactly how good of a deal I'm really getting. So if you want to save money anytime, head on over to joinhoney.com/Alex Meyers, install the extension with just 2 clicks, like I said, and start saving today. Okay, back to the show. We start off, and right from the beginning, as per the last movie, Anna and Christian are getting married after they've been dating for like 6 hours or something or whatever.
Christian, I vow to be your faithful partner in sickness and in health. I promise to love you unconditionally, to honor and respect you, to bring you solace in times of need.
They're exchanging vows as if their relationship has ever actually been worth anything to begin with. And I promise to stalk your every movement and randomly watch you sleep at night and tie you up in my basement a couple times a week whenever I feel like it. Oh boy, the truest of true loves. Anyway, so then we get your typical romantic montage of them on their honeymoon traveling around Europe or wherever this is and walking around strangely empty tourist traps that don't have like 500 people trying to say something every 30 seconds. After another 3 montages in a row, they're back in their hotel room, or like maybe this is Christian's yacht. I don't know, it's anyone's guess at this point. Anyway, they're back somewhere doing the old devil's tango. And that's when Christian gets an interesting little Zoom call from his office back home.
I'm sorry to interrupt your honeymoon. We had a fire in the main server room this morning.
Was anyone injured?
No, and the damage could have been much worse. The fire suppression system kicked in. This guy. Security's sweeping the room for fingerprints and DNA.
Can you go back? Oh my God, that's Jack.
Now, I know all of you are definitely completely invested in this story, but just in case some of you forgot, Jack was Anna's old boss who was getting all hammer with her, so Christian bought the entire company just so he could fire this one guy. You know, billionaire stuff. So they cut their honeymoon short and head back to Seattle to try and figure out what the yuck is going on. That night, after they get back, Anna decides she wants to cook dinner for Christian and be all like wifey and stuff. But as they get to talking, they come to the shocking realization that they may have just maybe kind of sort of moved a little too fast with the whole marriage thing.
You do want to have kids someday, right?
Someday, sure.
You don't really sound sure.
You know what I am sure about? That's great steak.
Do you not want to have kids?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is one of those things you should probably figure out before you get married, you know? Okay, so we both think the other one is physically attractive. Check. Now we just gotta get through all the rest of these. Let's see, which one of us gets the second player Mad Catz controller with a built-in cheese grater? Where should I keep all my Yu-Gi-Oh cards? Oh yeah, also, quick question. What are your thoughts on taking care of a child for at least 18 years? So the movie goes on for a while, showing us how they're getting used to being married and all that, and Christian has a new car or a jet or like a rocket ship every other scene, because of course he does. But then later on, they go somewhere, and Christian has a little surprise for the new Mrs. Gray.
So,
Oh yeah, it's beautiful.
I bought it. For us, as a home. I should have asked you first. If you don't like it, we can always...
I love it.
You what? Are we looking at the same place? This is absolutely the kind of house where you're gonna wake up in the middle of the night, there's gonna be some like 4-year-old kid standing there like, wanna play a game? And then you find out he died in the house 500 years ago. But despite this, they go inside and meet this architect lady that Christian knows, I guess. And as they get to talking, we see her kinda sorta getting all touchy-feely with the Christian over here. You know what I'm saying? And this is when Anna decides to try out her new wife's superpowers.
It is Gia, right? I'm sure you're very good at what you do. Please stop speaking to my husband as if I weren't here.
Anna.
You may call me Mrs. Gray, and this is not a prestige project. This is gonna be our home. So, if you want this job, I suggest you stop making eyes at my husband and keep your hands to yourself.
After this, on their way home from the house, they find out that they're being followed by someone, which, given what we just learned about Anna's old boss, it's starting to make Christian feel a little uncomfortable. But Anna's being strangely chill about someone breaking into Christian's office and then trying to run them off the road, you know, like, oh, Christian, you're so adorable. I've been pumping my own gas, holding my keys between my knuckles for my entire life. Welcome to my world. But then, immediately after this, we get this entire drawn-out scene of her washing and cutting his hair for literally no reason whatsoever. What is this movie? Later on, Christian goes to New York for one of those rich guy business things he does when he's not spending all his endless amounts of free time with Anna, doing whatever it is they do up in that playroom. But now that Anna's all alone, when she comes home from work one day, you'll never guess what happens. Oh, shucks. But then Anna's bodyguards are all like, hey, you, knock it off, and save the day. However, the next morning, well, you'll see.
Hi.
Okay, what is it about dudes watching girls sleep? I mean, why is this a thing that happens all the time? You got Edward, Christian, Massimo, me? What is this? Anyway, so Christian's all grumpy grump because he found out that despite the whole stalker thing going on, Anna went out with her friend to a bar, and then that's when Jack got into their house condo thing while she was out. Not to mention, Christian had told Anna to always go straight home after work.
Sawyer, can we go to the bunker club, please?
Mr. Gray said to take you straight home.
Well, Mr. Gray's not here. I am, so bunker club, please.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, because there's a whole creepy stalker guy trying to do whatever stalkers do. Not that I would know, obviously. Why would you even suggest that? So yeah, Christian's just kind of sitting there like, harumph, harumph. But then 5 minutes later, they're all like, blah, 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 and everything's fine, apparently. Okay, so no joke, the next like 40 minutes of this movie, nothing freaking happens. It's just them taking vacations, eating ice cream, hanging out, and this just happens like over and over again. Eventually, the movie does actually go somewhere when Anna goes to visit her doctor.
I did leave a lot of messages.
I know. I've been so busy, it just kind of slipped through the cracks.
Before we start, it seems you're pregnant, Mrs. Gray.
Bwah. Now, if you'll recall the totally not obvious foreshadowing that happened at the beginning of the movie, Christian isn't a real fan of kids. You know, I mean, he's seen the movies, but hasn't read the books, just casual. But at the time, it was all hypothetical. But I'm sure he's gonna have a very reasonable, well thought out, emotionally mature response to this new information.
And the other assistants, they'll tell the detectives he
I'm
did the
pregnant.
same.
6 or 7 weeks.
You forgot your shot?
Sorry.
I have plans for us. I wanted to give you the world.
Right, yeah, sure, because none of this is your fault whatsoever, Christian, right? I mean, how silly of me. How dare she not mess up her entire body just so you can do whatever you want? What was she thinking? Anyway, then we get a sad montage of Anna looking out the window at her domain, you know, pondering the worries and hardships of the unwashed masses below her, or like, I don't know, whatever rich people do on the weekends. Christian, upset that he has to face the consequences of his own actions, he runs away for a long time and eventually comes back much later that night.
Hey! You look mighty fine, Mrs. Gray.
Wow, where have you been? All right, let's go to bed.
Now you're talking.
Okay, big guy.
As he's stumbling into bed, Anna happens to see a text from Mrs. Robinson on his phone and finds out that he was with her the entire time he was away. So just to summarize here, Christian's wife Anna tells him that she's pregnant, and his response is to go hang out with his ex-girlfriend all night.
told you we're just friends.
The time for talking to me was yesterday. The going gets rough, and you go running to her.
It wasn't like that.
When your husband prefers the company of his ex-mistress, it doesn't really say much for your marriage, does it?
And I'm sorry. I'm standing here telling you I'm sorry. Okay, she doesn't mean anything to me.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is the dumbest argument I've ever heard. She doesn't mean anything to you? Yeah, okay. You know who means nothing to me? Harry from Harry and the Hendersons, all right? Because he's never crossed my mind once until, like, right this moment. You know who probably means a lot to you? The girl who was the first person you went to go see in the middle of the night, you dirt dingus. But you know, I gotta say, it's just nonstop drama, stress, hiding things, lying the entire time. Like, what about any of this is desirable to anyone? I mean, like, how did these books sell more than 14 copies? Anyway, so the big climax of the movie comes a little while after this, when Anna's old boss, Jack, the guy who's been stalking her this whole time, you know, in case you forgot. Anyway, he calls her up on the phone one day while she's all emotional about everything that just happened with Christian.
Damn, it's good to hear your voice.
Never got a chance to talk last week.
How are you calling me? You should be
What, in jail?
I'm out on bail, sweetheart.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I picked her up outside the gym.
It seems like your husband's security never learns. Again, get me $5 million by 1 p.m.
So long story short, she ends up giving him the money, but Christian was tracking her phone the whole time, so everything turns out perfectly fine like 3 minutes after it all starts happening in the first place. So, what a roller coaster this movie is. There's also this part after this where we learn that Jack and Christian were actually in the same foster home when they were kids, and Christian got adopted, but Jack didn't, hence why he's doing all this.
That's Hyde. That's me.
You were in foster care with him?
I must have been.
Do you remember these people? Do you know these kids?
I barely remember anything before I was adopted. I was too young.
Which would have really been an interesting plot thread to go down and like examine how two kids in the system turned out so differently based on life experience or whatever. But no, ma'am, this is a 50 Shades movie, okay? So you better just keep your expectations right on the floor. So after the whole thing with Jack is over, we get to the very end of the movie where Christian's like, "Oh, Anna, so you're still pregnant, huh?" "Yep, it's only been 3 days since we had that conversation, Christian." "Oh, okay, well, I mean, that's cool, I guess." But like, that's actually pretty much how the scene plays out.
Anna, I want to have this baby with you. I was just scared. I wanted your world to begin and end with me.
It does. Christian, it does. You're my whole life.
Yeah, okay, I may have paraphrased a little bit. And that's how the entire 50 Shades series comes to an end. So, like, huh? This entire series is basically just a rich man-child who meets a girl and kinda sorta grows up a little bit. The only real takeaway I have from watching all three of these modern art pieces is that some people will literally put up with just about anything. "Oh, the guy I'm dating makes me sad and angry all the time, but I was happy once like 3 months ago, so I guess I'll stick around and hopefully things will magically get better one day." But that being said, the entire film series did earn over $1 billion total, so like, the heck do I know? You know, making this video was actually kind of difficult for me in a way. I mean, first of all, just as I was editing this, 80-hour video that it took to make it, and I'm just questioning all my life choices at this point. Just like, why am I doing this to myself? How did my life get this way? Why am I watching 50 Shades Freed of all things? But also, like, okay, so the first movie, she meets Christian Grey, and then he's all weird, and she's all dumb, and then they finally get together, and it's all a bunch of ups and downs, and it's, like, it's not a good movie, it's not a good story by any means, but like, what's there is enough to carry it from beginning to end. But the second, and especially this third movie, like, nothing happens. There's nothing important, nothing happens, especially this last one. Like, at least half of this movie is literally nothing. Nothing happens. There's nothing to it. Nothing happens. There's really barely any conflict. Like, the whole, like, stalker guy thing, that kind of shows up and then disappears for a while and then shows back up and then disappears totally again. And then it gets resolved in, like, 30 seconds. And the whole pregnancy thing doesn't come in until, like, halfway through the movie. And then it's like, I don't know if I want a kid. And then he's like, okay, maybe kid's fine, I guess. And it's just like, nothing happens. This movie's made over $1 billion total. $1.3 billion. Any of these movies, really. I mean, the first one at least has some kind of sort of story, I guess, but like, there doesn't need to be 3 of these, okay? Nothing's worth 3 of these movies at all. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thankfully, now I'm done with 50 Shades, so pat myself on the back, made it through that somehow, coming out alive, I guess. Well, mostly. We'll see. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to ring that bell so you don't miss any videos from me. Follow me on Twitter if you want to. I don't really use it anymore, but go ahead. I have a new podcast. It's like a dating story, dating advice kind of podcast, because I talk about a lot of rom-coms and stuff, so I figure I might as well make a podcast about it, because people, a lot of people asked for that, so I made one. So you can check that out. Link is down below. Above all, it's everybody have a great day, and I'll see you all next time.